Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another YouTube tutorial video, and today we're going to be taking a look at a TvP build order that I use quite frequently on the ladder, and it's going to be a Widowmine drop into a 3 racks timing attack. And this is actually one of the most standard ways that you can play TvP in the current meta that I think, and I definitely recommend learning a build like this if you haven't learned it already. Quite easy to play, honestly. Like, the only thing you really have to get good at is dropping your Widow Mines, and then obviously attacking the Protoss at the end of the game. Can be quite challenging. Like, breaking a Protoss on 3 base is never something that's easy to do, but hopefully with this video we can make it seem a little bit easier for you guys. So to take a look at the build order, we do go barracks after depot, and then we get our first gas after the barracks, and then we're going to get a second gas geyser here in a second with our rallied worker. And the reason for this is so that we can get all of the gas very early, and we can build our factory even earlier because of it. So the timing of the gas, we do saturate each gas geyser to 3 out of 3 right when they finish. And then we are going to be taking the guys off gas as well once we do build the factory. And the reason for that is because, like I said, you only need the gas for the factory. So you want to take the guys off once you're able to build that. So we are going to wall off here. Always wall off in TvP as early as you can. You want to block the probe from knowing if you're going 2 gas or 1 gas. It just makes it a lot more scary for the Protoss, and it gives them more options that they have to deal with potentially. So you always want to make sure you wall off your ramp in this matchup now. So like I said, there's the factory, and then we're going to take 1 guy off gas here, and then another guy off gas here. As well, we're also, I don't know if I mentioned it, but we do open Reaper. And then, yeah, we're going to go Reactor after the Reaper. And we're just going to go into a Widowmine drop, essentially. Like, nothing too complicated. This is basically identical to the TvP build that I uploaded last week. But instead of Cyclone, you're actually just going to go Widowmine out of the factory, which is a nice little small adjustment. Like, it makes the builds look similar, too. So if it does get scouted, like, you know, it's a little bit harder to defend. So the Reaper does cross the map, and as always, you're looking to see that the Nexus is about 60 to 70% done. This tells us that there's no proxy gateway on the map, which is awesome. And then, yeah, the next goal of the Reaper is to figure out what the tech is. So is it a Twilight? Is it a Stargate? Is it a Robo? That's the job of the Reaper. And then back at home, once you get your first 400 minerals here, you build your command center. And then you start building Widow Mines out of the factory, like I mentioned. And then, yeah, you get your depot, you get your Marines. Nothing too fancy. Reaper's going to jump in the main. Now, something I want to mention here is that when you jump in the main with the Reaper, let's say that there was an Adept here. You basically have 1 second to decide whether or not you want to just back away and go back to the right, or if you want to go in the main. And if you go in the main, your Reaper will die to the Adept, but you should get the Scout off. And I think that's always going to be worth it. Like, you always want to sack the Reaper for the Scout. But in the case of this game, our opponent doesn't have an Adept here. So I basically just get to come in and see whatever I want. I see the Stalker, which is enough information for me this game, because Stalker opening rarely means Stargate. And that's the main thing you're looking for. Like, is my opponent going Stargate? Because if they are going Stargate, and I'm going to pause for this because this is important to say, you should never do a Widowmine drop versus a Stargate opener, because you will die. They will pick up every Widowmine with the Phoenix, and you will do 0 damage, and then they will chase the medevac down, and they will kill it for free. So yeah, that's basically the job of the Reaper, is to make sure you know what the build order is. Let me open the production tab too for you guys. I should have already had that open, my bad. So yeah, and then the macro, we build our medevac here. Supply blocked until the command center finishes, which is normal. I think my command center was like 1 second late, which delayed that a little bit. Let me rewind to the bunker timing just to mention it for you guys, because the bunker, very important. Because when you build the bunker, you need to make sure the bunker is done before the starport unit comes out. So let's fast forward here. So starting the bunker now, like right when the starport is going to start building the medevac, is perfect. Because remember, we're going to be dropping these Widow Mines, and once the Widow Mines are gone, we have nothing to defend with, So you want to make sure this bunker is done right before you leave. So yeah, that's the timing you're looking for there. We're going to float the command center now. We do build 3 Widow Mines. Some people like to build 2. With this build, I think 3 is fine because you do get the earlier gas geysers. And the reason why you want to be careful on the Widow Mine count is it does cut into your tank production. And tanks are very important for dealing with blink, especially if your opponent was going to go for like a 2 base, like 4 gate blink build. You definitely want to have the tanks earlier for that. So you got to be careful and you got to scout well with the Reaper. I'd argue I could have even scouted better with the Reaper this game, but honestly, I just kept it alive. I did see the 3rd timing, and seeing the 3rd tells me like no cheese is on the way. No DT, no blink all in, just standard. Which is perfect because we were just going to go Widow Mine drop now. And we're going to build our first extra barracks behind this, as well as a tech lab on the starport. And then we're just going to build Raven and tanks out of the 2 buildings there. Reaper sacks in one more time. I do see a cannon, which is not really the typical response to Widow Mine drop play. Like, people who do build cannons, I don't really agree with it. It is going to stop the Widow Mine drop, but it's quite an investment to have to build, you know, like 300 minerals worth of cannons just to defend 1 medevac. And to counter it this game, I actually just put the Widow Mines on top of the ramp. Like, just put them out of range of the cannons, and, I mean, what can he do? He has to send Phoenix Energy scouts to deal with it. I mean, I'm honestly just trying to make the most of a Widow Mine drop that was never really going to do much. But really, the damage that was dealt is the damage of the cannons being built. And I mean, this Protoss also didn't mine minerals for a long time, which is good too. So it's debatable whether or not I would go for the Widow Mine drop again if I was presented with the opportunity. So looking back at home, and I will pause here because a lot happened at home while we were looking at that. This build basically just turns into your normal TvP build. So you get stim and you swap the Raven building tech lab so you can get the tech lab on the barracks. What else? You build 3 tanks total. You could build 2, but I like to build 3. Typically, it's like my magic number. And as I say that, I'm only building 2. Alright, so 2 tanks is the magic number. That's funny. And then we're just going to go into Widow Mine production. I guess it was just a little bit late this game, so I ended up just canceling it. Let's see what the Protoss is doing. So the Protoss is just going like mass gate to deal with this, which is a pretty effective way to deal with the Terran push, so we'll see how he does. Honestly, the setup here is looking good though. Like, our Widow Mine drops did do a little bit of probe mining damage, like I said, which is always what you want. And also, it's good to just keep the units on his side of the map if you can. My medevac's dead, unfortunately, but ideally I would have liked to keep like a medevac here with 1 Widow Mine, if I could have. What else? So we got our eBay, we got our +1. And yeah, we're just gonna fast forward a little bit because essentially we're just gonna push out when we get our 4 medevacs. I think this is my favorite timing to go for, is like 3 to 4 medevacs around the 7-minute mark. Like, you can never have the perfect timing every game. Like, it's going to be different every game no matter what. But I'd say around 7 minutes is when you guys should be aiming to push out. Like, this is a pretty, like, formidable force right here. You got Widow Mines in here to protect the tanks. And then the tanks can sit on the low ground, and the Raven can Seeker the bulk of the army, which is also extremely helpful. Like, this is kind of why this build order is like, or this attack, this timing attack is like the standard way to play TvP, because it's just really strong and it's not easy to hold. Our Protoss this game, like, they don't even have enough gateway units right now. They're going to have to force field just to buy time, but it's not enough. Like, Protoss has to play very well, and they have to have their build order down well in order to have the correct amount of units here. In this case, it's a pretty easy, like, you don't have to think about this too much. Like, if the Protoss balls their units together, you just Seeker. If there's a high value unit like a Colossus, you disable the Colossus. You could also disable the Immortal if you wanted to. There's very few bad decisions you can make with the Raven. So there's the Seeker. I disabled the Immortal even, which is good. And yeah, you just kind of like protect the tanks. Like, notice how I have the Widow Mines beside the tanks. So if he ever gets like charge lots to go after the tanks, the Widow Mines will detonate on the Zealots. That's pretty straightforward. Back at home, I'm always rallying to my supply depot because you never know when a War Prism is going to fly in and just ruin your day. And then, yeah, just continue to push. This game is just going to be cleaned up pretty easily, honestly. Like, this guy has just not enough stuff. And then back at home, like, the timing of the third command center, you build that pretty much as you're moving out. So, like I mentioned, we moved out at 7 minutes before. You probably want to build your command center at, like, 7 minutes, 30 seconds, around there. Like, you pretty naturally just have the money for it. Like, you'll notice if you're producing off of your 3 barracks and your medevacs and your Widow Mines, then you just kind of naturally get 400 minerals around the 7 minute 30 second mark. Yeah, just continuing to push the Protoss. I mean, we can fast forward through the rest of this. Like, there's not much. I mean, maybe I can mention the micro here. Like, when you're microing versus Colossus, I don't know if you guys know this, but Marauders actually survive a lot longer than Marines. So ideally you want to put the Marauders in front of the Marines. And then, yeah, you just kind of like stim target fire the Colossus with the Marauders, and then the Marines just kind of come in from behind and clean everything up. I decided to style on this guy, and I went for the Widow Mine drop here, which is going to be amazing. Oh, he got the Widow Mine. Nice. Well done. Yeah, just stim forward, killed it. Yeah, pretty good game. I hope you guys learned from it. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll get back to you. And maybe we can do a tutorial on the mid to late game TvP next, because now that you guys know how to get to this phase of the game, like pretty easily, like what happens next? Like, let's say we did our attack at 7 minutes and the Protoss player held the attack. Where do you go from there? It can be quite advanced, so that definitely deserves its own YouTube video. To name the next couple steps, just for the fun of it, like, yeah, you build your orbital here, you saturate the third, you build your 2 extra barracks, so you have 5 barracks total, and then you just keep trying to push the Protoss. Like, you want to get your +2 going as quickly as possible. I do have my armory on the way for that. And then you want to get your gas geysers at the third as quickly as you can too. And then you can use your excess gas on like Liberators. You can build a Ghost Academy. It kind of depends on what the Protoss is doing, like if they have Colossus or High Templar. But yeah, that's definitely a video for another day. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching. Peace out.